Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on with the stock market? Well, it's my opinion that we've actually made a top and now we're coming back down. Now, if we get above that, I'm wrong, right? But my opinion is that that was the top, at least the short-term top. I'm looking for a drop back to the April lows, down about 25% from here. I'm looking for that. Now, if we get above that top, I will take my short positions off. But what I'm doing now is I'm selling the rips, right? Everybody else is buying the dips. I'm selling the rips. When it goes up, I put my options on the S&P put options, and I put my QQQ put options on any strength in this market. I think this market is going to work itself lower. Now, is it just a temporary correction and then we head back higher? That I'm not sure. Is it the big one? Could the big one start to happen? We're getting closer to that point where the big one could actually happen. Now, we got a situation. We got the government closed down, right? And the Democrats, they can't have the government open again. They're going to vote to have it closed, right? And the Donald, he's probably going to do some executive order to open it back up. I don't even know if he has that power, but he's got to get the government back open, and the Democrats have to keep it closed so that they can crash the market, crash the economy, if you will. You see, the government is a big part of the economy. If it stays closed long enough, you're going to see the economy come down. You're going to see the stock market come down. You're going to see the Fed panic once we get back to those April lows. They're going to panic. They're going to do the rate cuts, right? But that's not going to work this time. That's my opinion, right? We're getting closer to the end of this system. Now, I know that gold has kind of had a pullback here, right? I mean, people like, I keep warning, 10, 20%, very common. In the miners, we could get all the way to a 50% pullback. That's common in the big bull runs, right? And this bull run is so far from over, it's just getting started. So if we get back to 3,500 gold, that's just a gift. I mean, that's where you want to load the boat at. I don't know if we get that low. Maybe we do. Maybe we come back down to that 3,500. But you see, a lot of people look at gold. They're kind of looking like it's a stock trade or something. Gold is not your stock trade, right? That is well, we're going through a generational monetary system set. It's a reset. It's a reset of the system, right? The monetary system that we have is going to go away. I got news for you. It's just not going to be here. It's not going to work anymore. Once they lower the rates back to zero, once they start doing the big print. You see, I see the S&P coming down below 6,000, probably below 5,000 as it comes down lower and lower. And once it gets below 5,000, believe me, the Fed's going to panic. The Donald's going to be screaming at him. You got to make this thing go back up. And they're going to try. They're going to print money like crazy. They're going to print money hand over fist. They're going to just load up money. It's going to be what's known as the big print, right? Now, the big print is fascinating. We're going to see that come down. But you see, I think that big print is not going to work this time for the stock market. The stock market's onto it, right? I don't think they're going to be able to get that back to new record highs. Now, we may not be at the complete record high yet. We're going to come down. My take is we did just make the new record high, right? And that was a top. We're in a topping pattern, a topping process. Maybe we bounce a little bit higher above that. But if you look at things like Bitcoin starting to come down, right? And that's going to lead the market lower. Now, people think that Bitcoin is a safe trade. Look at when the Nasdaq's down 3%, you got Bitcoin dropping 8%, right? What's going to happen when the Nasdaq drops 40%? You're going to get Bitcoin dropping 80%. Bitcoin's going to be what leads the market lower. Now, here's the thing. You see, a lot of people think that there's going to be a Great Depression again, and I believe that's going to be accurate. Yes, all you got to do is balance the budget of the government, and we'll get into an instant Great Recession. Why? Because we have to print $2, 3, 4 trillion a year just to keep this facade going. We live in fake times. We live in a facade. During recession, they're going to print a lot of money, and the recession is coming, right? And that recession is going to turn into a depression, I'm afraid, but not the type of depression that people are thinking. I don't think it's going to be a depression back like we had in the 1930s where everything devalued. We're going to get the initial devaluation of the stock market, of the crypto markets, but then they're going to do the big print. They got to get it back up. They can't let your house come tumbling down because then they don't get the property taxes. If they let the stock market come down, the economy is going to crash with it, and they're not going to have any money in their coffers, right? They got to keep them up any way they can, even if it means printing 10, 20, $30 trillion at a time. They got to get this to go up. So what are we looking at that point? I say we're looking at hyperinflation. We're going to hyperinflate this time. It's not going to be the depression where we have that deflationary depression. Yes, we're going to get that initial deflation, but what's going to happen when they do? When the Fed sees that, they're going to go right to their toolbox, right? Lower rates to 0%, maybe even negative if they can pull that off. And we're going to see the big money printers starting to print again. Now you got Jamie Dimon, right? He's the head banker of the United States, basically, banker for JP Morgan, right? Now Jamie Dimon, he comes out and says a lot of these banks are like cockroaches, right? They're just going to get smashed. And we saw that last week when Zion Bank dropped 10%, Western Alliance Bank dropped 10%. These are banks that are going to be dropping. Look, I got news for you. Jamie Dimon's bank isn't safe either. But Jamie Dimon is, well, he's got the closest one to the government. So the government's going to keep Jamie Dimon in business. They're going to let these regional banks drop, right? And they're going to drop by the wayside. The banks are in trouble. Jamie Dimon's bank is insolvent. He just lost $200 million to Tricolor, the auto company, right? Which was a shadow bank, right? They were making the loans. Jamie Dimon was loaning them the money to make the loans. As you see, his bank, he wants to not say that they had those bad auto loans, so he loans money to Tricolor. Tricolor makes the loan to the people, right? And the people didn't pay him back. They didn't get their money back. So Jamie Dimon doesn't get his money back. Yeah, he didn't make the auto loans. He loaned Tricolor the money, which made the auto loans, and he lost $200 million. Not $200 million to Jamie Dimon. That's not that much money, right? But you got a lot of that going on right now. You got problems in the banking systems. Look, you got problems, a lot of them not getting their loans paid back on the auto loans, on the real estate loans, the commercial properties. Oh my goodness, a lot of these regional banks, they own those commercial properties. They own the shopping centers. They own the office buildings. And these, in most areas of the country, are sitting half vacant, right? They don't bring in enough money to make the mortgage payment. So the bank, the regional banks, got to take the shopping center back. They got to take the office building back. They don't want to own the shopping center. They don't want to own the office building. What are they going to do? They're going to sell them. It's going to be a fire sale. 10 cents on the dollar. What was 100 million is now 10 million. These are big losses on their balance sheet. The banking system is in trouble, right? It's in trouble, but they're going to go to the big print. They're going to lower rates to zero. They're going to print 10, 20, $30 trillion, right? And this is going to what they're hoping. I'm not sure it's going to work, right? They're hoping to keep the house prices up. They're hoping that the stock market can rebound from its low. Like I say, I see the S&P going below 5,000, and they're going to panic when that happens, right? What did we top out at? About 6,700, right? 6,700. So it's going to go down below 5,000, which really isn't that bad, right? I mean, 5,000, 6,700, you lose 1,700 points, but they're going to do these things and they're not going to see it going back up. So they're going to increase the size. And that's where we're going to go to the hyperinflation, right? The purchasing power of your dollar is going to go lower and lower and lower. Now, I keep telling people that this is not going to make your house go higher. A lot of people think that this is inflationary and it's going to make your house go higher. No, it's going to make gold go higher. It's going to make your house go down. Why? Because you're going to see your property taxes are going to to start to go up, right? And maintenance costs are going to start to go up. Everything's going to start to go up because the government has to pull more money out of you some way. So they're going to raise property taxes, but these houses, people can't afford them now. They're not going to be able to afford them then. The houses are bought with debt. It's a debt asset. 80% of people that buy a house, they use a mortgage, right? And when you start hyperinflating, you're going to see people are not going to want to loan the government money at 4% for 30 years, even for 10 years. And 10 years is where the mortgage money lies, right? 30 years also, 20 year also. The long end of the curve, you're going to see those rates going up. Yes, they're going to lower rates back to zero, but that's down here. We're going to hyperinflate with that. When you get inflation running 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, what are the mortgages on your house going to do? They're not going to be down here at 5%. No, they're going to be 10, 20, 30%. People will not, and they won't even be able to get one. Why? Because the banks are going to be gone. The banks are going away. People don't get this. The banking, the whole system is going to collapse this take, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to it. I don't think we have 3 years left. Some people say we have 5. Some people say we have 10. I don't think we have 3 years left. I think this is going to crash onto Donald's watch, and I don't think there's a thing he can do about it. Now, what I'm telling you, gold got a little bit washed out, silver a little bit washed out. Going to come down about 10% on gold. Going to come down 20% on silver. The miners probably come down 50%. I'm not really sure if they get that low or not. But don't get shaken out. Look at this is what's going to be the new system. The old system's going away. We got a generational monetary system reset going on. And it's going on right in front of our eyes, right? I mean, you're going to see they're going to bring the gold up 8,000, 10,000. And then when it gets up to 8,000, 10,000, then they're going to start to revalue it, right? So we're going to hit 5 figures on gold. But the first figure is not going to be a 1. Could be a 2, could be a 3, could be a 4 before the new system comes in, before there's a stable system coming in. And I'm not talking about stable coins. I'm talking about a stable system. Stable coins are going to fail, right? They want you in the Fugazi. Don't fall for it. Don't go into the Fugazi. Stick with the sound money. Stick with gold. Stick with silver. Look, at the sound money is where you want to be. It's not this Fugazi stuff. Look at Bitcoin's going to lead this down, right? It's going to lead the stock market lower. It's scary, right? I mean, if you're in crypto, it's real scary. If you're in gold and silver, they're trying to shake you out with a 10% pullback. 10% pullback's nothing. Look how far we've come. When I started my channel, gold was 1,700. Now we're over 4,000. Yes, it's going to come in a little bit. It may get down to 3,500. If it does, that's a gift. But this end game that they're playing is very dangerous, very scary. It's going to be a monetary reset, right? They're going to hyperinflate. When the stock market goes down, they're going to have to do the money print. They're going to have to reduce it somehow. They're going to lower the rate to 0, but the long end's going to see that hyperinflation come. The long end's going to go up higher. When there's a recession, what do? They print money as fast as they can. Print money, print money, print money. And you get the S&P dropping from 6,700 down here below 5,000. You're going to see the baby boomers. We're going to be getting real scared. We haven't taken our money out yet. We still got about, $15 trillion in the stock market. You want to see a sucking sound in the stock market when that stock S&P drops below 5,000? Baby boomers going to be running for the hills, right? And they're going to be looking for a safe place to put that money that they're pulling out of the stock market. That safe place is going to be gold this time. Used to be bonds, right? But bonds are the problem. People don't get that. They are the problem. We can't pay the interest on the bonds anymore without borrowing more money to make it go up higher. Our debt going up, going up, going up. And when we start printing 10 trillion a year, 20 trillion a year, this is going to get real scary. And I'm just trying to protect you. Look, you got to do you. You think that crypto Fugazi fuzzy stuff is safe. You go there, right? But Tall Mike's telling you, look at what's going to be left standing. Going to be the gold market. Going to be the silver market. Look, I think this is the last bull run for gold. The reason is because it will become money again. In the monetary reset, they're going to have to do something to get the confidence back to the people. And that's going to be a reset into what's always worked. 5,000 years it's worked. It's going to be reset again, backed by gold in some shape or form. Maybe not 100% back, maybe only 50% back. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. Now, I do think that the stock market's going to come in, right? And I do think that gold's going to go up. If I were to guess where the Dow and the gold meets at, be somewhere between 30 and 40,000. I don't think it's that far away. I think it's definitely within 5 years, probably within 3 years, and maybe even happen sooner. Maybe it's unfolding right now as we watch. They're trying to wash you out of sound money. They can't have you into sound money. That's out of their system. They got to keep you in the system, got to keep you in those cryptos, got to put you in the stable coin, got to keep you in all that fiat stuff. Otherwise, their system falls apart. They cannot continue on. They cannot do anything, right? But here's the thing. They're going to eventually take us to a war. They have to because they don't want to get blamed for it. They can blame it on the war then. We'll see how this all plays out. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Punch that subscribe button. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.